Welcome back to Good Day Stateline. Summer is upon us, and that means we're all out and about. Attorney Tim Mahoney from Mahoney Mahoney joins me now to talk about what you should have in place in case you get into an accident.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you so much for coming.
Perfect face for radio, so I'm very glad that you guys had me on television. So one of the things that I get asked a lot, and something that comes up a great deal in our cases that surprises people, is they haven't had an opportunity in a long time to take a look at what type of coverage they have on their automobile and whether or not they're at risk, both in terms of their assets or in terms of coverage if they're involved in a wreck. And so everybody that is watching this should pull out their automobile insurance and take a look. Every automobile insurance policy is actually a series of policies wrapped into one. There's a policy that covers the vehicle in case it's damaged. There's a policy called MedPay, which is for medical payments for anybody injured in any type of wreck, no matter how it happens. And that usually tends to be a smaller amount, $5,000, $10,000, sometimes it's $25,000. And then there's liability, and then there's uninsured, underinsured. Liability is if you're involved in a wreck and you're at fault, you were the one that caused the wreck, then it's to cover you in terms of damages to the person that may have been injured or to the vehicle that may have been damaged on the other side of that wreck. Uninsured, underinsured, which tends to be the same amount as liability, is in case you're involved in a wreck and it's not your fault, and the person on the other side doesn't have sufficient insurance. And both of those areas are areas where people tend to have not nearly enough insurance. So let's talk about liability first. So a lot of times people will have what are called 100-300 policies.
Okay.
So that means $100,000 per occurrence, $300,000 max. So let's say you're going down the road and you hit a vehicle and there's multiple people in the vehicle and multiple people are injured, okay? So that means that any one person can get up to $100,000 and the total that they're going to pay is $300,000. Now, if that's not the limit of your liability, then you are personally on the hook for the difference beyond that and what ultimately you're responsible for. Well, $100,000 nowadays doesn't go very far if somebody's injured. Medical bills are very significant. Even a small injury can result in a large number of medical bills. So $100,000 is not a lot of coverage. And if you have assets, those assets can be susceptible to judgment and attachment. Judgments can go on for a long period of time. You can be looking at bankruptcy. You know, I've seen a lot of people who have like farmland that maybe they inherited or they own a portion of, and they got involved in a wreck. A lot, you know, now it's motorcycle season, so that's a lot of motorcycle wrecks happen, small roads, those types of things. And now, all of a sudden, they're looking at things going, oh my goodness, I don't have enough coverage. The other flip of that is if you're injured in a wreck and the other person has very little insurance or no insurance whatsoever, and now you have $100,000 uninsured, underinsured. Well, again, you know, take me for example. I mean, if I'm not working, then a lot of things aren't happening in terms of finances, correct? So if I got injured where I couldn't work for like 6 months, I mean, that would not get you very far. So the top policies that you can get are $250, $500, and what everybody should look at is what's called an umbrella policy. And you can get both a liability umbrella policy, which a lot of people have heard about, but you can also get an uninsured, underinsured umbrella policy. And that's the thing that everybody really needs to take a look at. So you can get $1 million or a $2 million liability umbrella policy to protect your assets in the event you're in a wreck and you injure somebody else and it was your fault. But you can also get an uninsured, underinsured umbrella to protect you in case you're in a wreck and it's somebody else's fault and they don't have sufficient insurance. And I have both of those. I have a $2 million liability umbrella and $1 million uninsured, underinsured umbrella just to make sure I'm covered. And those things, they hardly cost anything. If your insurance agent should all be very happy that I'm doing this. If you call up your insurance agent and say how much for a liability umbrella, you're going to be shocked at how cheap the cost is. It's nothing compared to the coverage that you could well need.
You seem like you have all the answers to all of the questions. So if anyone had any further questions for you, where could they go?
So my websites are MahoneyMahoney.com. Mahoney'sGotYourBack.com is our website that we use in the commercials, and my phone number is 815-656-4600.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and for giving us all that info. Be safe, of course, driving. Then
Yes.
you have less to worry about if you're safe. Michelle Markham is going to introduce you to Dr. Matthew Johnson from Hauser Ross. But first, did you miss any previous Good Day Stateline shows? You can find them all right now at gooddaystateline.com. We'll be right back with more Good Day Stateline.